both. This room is both the most advanced and at times the most childish. So you know who you are. But it's also the smallest. Therefore, we do our very best to record everything that happens here. But it is a lav mic and a singular camera in a room where that camera cannot possibly get all of us at once. So let me just ask this, and we'll see how close to maybe 80% we can get. If you're going to make a significant point, will you raise your hand? Not because we're children, but because we want to give you the mic. So no one's going to clip this on because there's only 20, 30 people in this room, and we have experience. We were right. We're not going to run mics. So this is it. If at any point you need to go, just go. No one needs to ask. But because the room is tight, there's just going to be activity. So we have a few people in here that are absolutely deliberate plants because we know that they have proven in the past to be really helpful. I think Kevin is on his way. Lindsay is here from Real Geeks. She's been doing tech and product at Real Geeks how long?
Oh my gosh. Almost 7 years.
7 years. We'll call it 8. No, I'm just kidding. She's got a sweet jacket on. No, so she's here to clear up or answer any specific product technology questions that maybe we have lack of clarity on. Dino's been using Real Geeks forever. Craig Schneider's here and is a highly technical engineering brain that helps me specifically, and I know a lot of you think through a lot of these things. And then there's a bunch of other people, Al and Mark, and usually Don's in here, and other folks that have been in this room before and are having these conversations on a somewhat regular basis. And I've been privileged to invite to some kind of small group masterminds with Dylan and the product team to give a little more access to Real Geeks technology. So just know this. Let me read it so I don't get this wrong. But our session, what do we title this one? Someone who's looking at the calendar?
Back-end setup and automation.
Back-end setup and automation. Sounds specific. Those of you that have spent a lot of time in the program know it's not very specific. So the back end means a lot of things. Specifically today, we're thinking CRM probably more than site, but everything's wide open. We're grown adults in a room where people know the product fairly well and want to get every ounce of life and value and functionality out of it. So there's no real rails to be on, but just know that we will have a separate design and traffic session tomorrow, and there will be a beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then later this afternoon there's a conversion one. So I would not be wise to spend a lot of time on follow-up and scripting and stuff here. We'll do that there. Make sense? Other than that, this is not a stand and speak breakout. This is a mastermind style breakout. So if someone's like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out, it's time for that. We'll hand you the mic. You say it, and then I would guess there are none of those that we can get by the whole room without a solution or at least a stopgap for. So, does anybody want to start us off with something that you have questions about, you're working on as far as back-end setup that you would like the collective insight of the room on? Don't be shy. Someone's going to have to start us off. I have a list of topics I can throw out, but it'll be way more valuable if it's what you're working on. And if somebody says text message deliverability, that door is still open. Al Lewis. Hold on.
Might have an answer.
Yeah, Lindsay might have. So we've noticed lately that we're seeing more failed as opposed to even undelivered, which we hadn't seen in the past. Can you tell us what's going on with that?
I can tell you all the information that I know. So we have, a lot of times it's Kevin, have been hounding Twilio for more answers. And so for those that don't know, there's been a little place in, as of September 1st, they got a lot stricter on text message deliverability. And so there's a few hoops we've had to jump through. One, and y'all probably gotten a lot of emails from us about this, is that you had to get brand approval, where we show the carriers that, hey, this is a legitimate business, a legitimate entity that can send text. Then it's campaign approval, where they evaluate your website, your capture forms, the privacy policy, make sure there's nothing in there that's giving you like legal permission jumped through all of these hoops, and we're still having some text message deliverability and sending issues. So right now we're working with Twilio to figure out, like, is there anything that we can do? Because we've done everything that they said. And what's kind of unknown right now is if it's the carriers that are making this fail or if it's Twilio.
Yeah, yes, Kevin, it was, yeah.
If you have a question about text message deliverability that goes out there and Aldo, I do.
But what I can say is it's a huge priority for us. I mean, we literally have our CEO and men have built Real Geeks, like, talking to our Twilio rep.
Oh my God.
So Kevin, the question was the failed messages that we're seeing as opposed to the undelivered. You know, I understood the undelivered, but all of a sudden we're seeing a lot of failed. And it's no rhyme or reason as to,
There's really not. I'll tell you, this is probably the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced since starting Real Geeks is this text message deliverability. We've probably spent more time on delivering SMSs this year than on any other single thing in all of the entire business. It's crazy how much time.
right, well, my New Year's Day started off where our texting failed. That's the way my year started, so I know it.
I mean, it makes you feel any better. The whole industry is dealing with this, and I'll tell you why it's so frustrating is just the total lack of transparency from our perspective. Like, I would love to tell you guys exactly what's happening inside Twilio and happening inside the carriers, but Twilio doesn't know because the carriers aren't telling them. So it's just extremely frustrating. So why are we getting failure messages where we used to get undelivered messages? Twilio can't tell me. They're just like, yeah, they're not being delivered. What we do get is like an error message back from Twilio that says, hey, this message was not delivered because we think it looks spammy. Okay, so I get the rep on the phone. Why does it look spammy? Yeah, we can't tell you. Okay, great. So generally the advice we've been given is like, okay, you need to be putting more opt-out language in there. Make sure that you text back stop if you don't want to get this message. We've been refining our privacy policy that's on the website. Putting all kinds of language in there about, like, hey, if you sign up here, then you agree to be texted. Sorry, I'm trying to yell, but
The audio on this recording is going to be troublesome, but that's just the nature of the advanced room.
You want me to yell into this thing?
It's like 6 inches below.
All right, I'll yell into this thing. See if this helps.
Or you can just end the text conversation.
Yeah, or we can just end. The one thing Twilio keeps begging us to do that I really don't want to do, that we'll see if they force us to, is put a checkbox on the sign-up form that says, I opt in, I would like to be texted. And that's the one thing I've been trying to push back to avoid doing, because who in their right mind is going to click that, right? You sign up on that thing, and they say, I can't default it to on, I have to default it to off, and I have to let people register without opting in to the text box.
Don't be shy. That's how this
Exactly,
works.
right. So I've been trying to avoid doing that as long as possible, but it means that we're having these deliverability issues still. So we'll see where this whole thing shakes out.
I'll be the runner.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not reaching in your pocket, though.
Kind of a two-part question. So the 800 number that was put in there,
Yes.
where does it ring to?
Yeah, it should work the same as any number, the same as the 10 DLC, 10-digit long code number.
Right?
If you call it, if you're a lead in the system, it's going to route automatically to the assigned agent, or if it's not a lead that's in the system, it routes to the
site owner.
Fell down on my job.
Real Geeks referral network.
It's going to route to the system normally.
Yeah, it rings to my cell phone. Yeah.
It should ring back to your phone?
it should yeah, right, exactly. If you go into your settings in the CRM backend, there's actually a call routing number screen, and you can actually customize where it goes for each agent, or for you if you're the site owner. I don't know if you have a team or not, but that's where you configure it is in the backend.
One other quick question.
Yeah.
If somebody opts out, I've had a couple of people, they've opted out when they got a reactive response.
Yes.
Does that automatically opt them out of all texting?
Will you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question is, if you opt out, or if a prospect opts out of a reactive response, does that also opt them out of any other, like, manual texting? The answer is yes. If they type stop back to a text message, That's actually out of the Real Geeks' control whether we're even allowed to text them again. That happens at the carrier. So even if we're sending the message to that phone number to be sent, since that prospect texted stop, we can't. We physically disconnects us from texting them again.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll just add real quickly that if you have any other platforms, it's happening on them as well. We have another CRM for a different business we own, and from time to time we'll use callfire.com for like a singular blast, just in a clean, separate system. It's everywhere. And everybody's blaming one carrier. AT&T's just ruined the whole, I mean, it's the world we live in. My recommended adjustment is to rely less on automated text. Use it all you can. In our team, we're using a lot of old school, like back in the, way back, like 3 whole years ago, where you just text someone, like one person texts another person, like that advanced, big time stuff. It's working really well.
We have eliminated all automated texting.
Yeah, Al Lewis is saying they've eliminated all automated texting. So I'm repeating so the recording has.
You're just doing manual one-off text?
Correct. We have eliminated, we have no more auto text, we have no more texting in our workflows. And you guys know a year ago I was here, we had a workflow for everything, every objection. We had to completely redo, adapt to what's going on in the market with this, and we have.
Yeah, Al's saying he's adapted in the market. He's eliminated. He used to be the king of workflows. Now it's no workflows, and it's all manual text. Now, we do have a feature in the system called a template text.
We use that.
So you can define those. I think you can even push those out to your agents, and they can select from a template. It can even template in names and things like that, so it's pretty useful. Sorry, Sasha had a question, and you had a comment.
I was going to take it to Sasha.
Yeah, Sasha.
It's more of a statement and a question. The issue that we've seen is that we have multiple systems that connect together. And so we might be texting out of Real Geeks, we might be texting out of one of our phone services our virtual assistants use as well. And the multiple texting started creating problems around the application because everyone was using Twilio. So I don't know if you guys are seeing that as an issue, but it's something that I started seeing. None of our text messages started going through until we stopped doing automated texting. Because my VAs use, I forget whatever phone service we have, but they use that to call out of, right? So they call and text out of that one, and I say just move all the manual text messages into Real Geeks, and we're not having a problem now. But the automation stuff just wasn't going through because we may get the lead source from Real Geeks, and we may get another lead source from a different application, and it has texting involved with that. But if you're registered as your business going into multiple applications, and they're all using Twilio, that became a problem for us.
Yeah, one thing, we've got a lot of data, so one thing we are seeing is that if you send a lot of messages that are very similar to other messages that you send, those get a tendency to be blocked by the carriers, right? Because they say, hey, this one's too similar, it's probably like a bulk send, right? We kind of...
This is about back-end setup also.
Yeah.
You had brought up the automated, or the templates.
Yes.
So I don't know if everybody's aware, and Lindsay here has set them up, so I'll let her talk to it. If you're a team leader, how you can set up templates and share that template with everybody else on your team for them to use it too. So
Yeah.
Lindsay has set that up for our.
Is it fair to call you Al's team leader?
Yes.
Okay, Lindsay, who runs a lot of this for Al's team, was just going to share about how they're using templates.
So under communications, you can create a new template. We've set up multiple in the past, but the auto text, you can input basically to include the lead's first name and then include the assigned agent's contact information, type in the text that you want, and then there's an option to share it with whatever agents are in your team or, in your CRM. And then it becomes a drop down, in their homepage. So it's very simple. We've set up multiple templates, emails and texts.
What are you guys most popular that you use or that your ISA is using or?
I mean, probably the new lead sign up. Are you here? Are you in town? Do you want to see homes virtually or can I give you a call sort of thing? I would say we get a lot of responses from that, probably the most versus any other follow-up templates that we have.
We use qualifying questions as well. Like, if someone's talking back to us, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? Sorry.
No, it's
We use qualifying questions as well in our templates, like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's important for you in terms of looking for a home. If that lead is talking to us, so we have those templates put together. So they'll say that, oh, I want yada yada, one-story home in blah, blah, blah school district. So just think about the questions that you would be qualifying anyway when you're talking to a lead and put those in a template. So we use those as well.
Yeah, I'll say something on those template questions. Here I am talking in this ridiculously tiny microphone. On those template questions, or the templates for the text messages, a really cool thing is that they're in the CRM app. I don't know if y'all are using the mobile app on Android or iOS. If you're not, you should. Apparently only like 30% of our users are using this app. I just figured this out the other day. It's crazy. Anyway, if you're on the go, you get a push notification that someone's on your site or that someone has texted you. You can just go in there and select one of those template responses, and it's pretty cool for running around, right? Yeah.
When I've used the app, mine disconnects a lot.
Oh, we just fixed that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would send a text.
Yeah.
And then you have to sit there and wait and say, well, did I get it or not? And so it just caused me, that was why I wasn't using it.
Yeah, so to repeat the question, what's your name? Karu. So Karu is saying that the CRM mobile app disconnects a lot, and then he misses if people are responding to him. And we actually, like a month or two ago, rewrote the whole app from scratch. You can't tell because it looks exactly the same, but to fix that exact bug where it would disconnect. So, yeah,
Laura, can you comment on the reactive responses and the ability to turn it off? Because I'll have clients that I know they're coming in January to buy a house, and they've told me that 10 times. But
yes.
every time they get on there, it says, "Oh, he's still looking." He's like, "I told you I'm coming
yes.
in January." So, like, the ability per client to have it toggled on or off without stopping all text messages that come.
Yes. Yeah. So the question is, are you going to add a way to turn off reactive responses for individual leads in the CRM? The answer is, come to my session later today.
I'll be interviewing Kevin at 3 p.m. Central Time.
What time?
3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and you shall have an answer.
It is, in fact, 3 p.m.
Yeah.
The mobile app, when you hit the text, is that the same thing? Mine's typing just says, it just keeps spinning. It won't disconnect.
Yes, the spinning. Yeah, we just fixed that. Oh, sorry, Mark is saying the mobile app with the spinning bug. Yeah, we just fixed that bug, so you shouldn't.
It's all going to be delivered then.
That's yes. And come and bother me if they're not, and I shall go bother Dylan.
I go right to a PC and it's delivered automatically.
Yes, it should be much better reliability on the disconnect spinning situation on the mobile app now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So maybe a combination of the two. Is there any plans to allow us to be able to send a push notification to users that are using the app, like clients that are using
Oh, clients and right. So we have the question is, are there any plans to allow push notifications to users of the app? To clarify, we have two apps. We have the CRM mobile app that's for y'all to use, and then we also have the Move To app, which is the app that the clients use. Instead of using the website, they can use our mobile app. So there are push notifications that go to that app for new listings that come on the market. So we can do, you may or may not know, but you can do an instant property notification. Instead of waiting for the daily email, we'll actually push out new listings as soon as they hit the market. But you're asking about custom, like, one-off messages instead of a SMS.
Basically,
Yeah.
text messages if they're using my app.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool feature, but it's not currently being built or anything.
I was just curious, there's no regulation at all
Exactly.
around push notifications other than Apple being Apple.
Right. No, yeah, that's very smart. I think what's happened is, I saw it with email. First, email was great. It's a gold rush. You can send an email to whoever you want. You can send them thousands of emails. They get annoyed by them, and marketers ruin it for everybody. Some of us ruin it for everybody, but hey,
We are this day.
Yeah, and so then, the spam filters come out, and then you have to be very deliberate about what you send via email. And then the same thing happened with SMS, right? For a while, it was amazing. You could send an SMS to anybody you wanted. Well, now you have to be really locked down on who you're allowed to SMS, and I think we're seeing that spam filter world take over the world of SMS. Maybe push message is the new frontier. Right? I'll pass this over to Todd.
I want to make a couple points. If you want to grab a chair and sit, feel free. Couple things. We can just tattoo Kevin with questions this whole time if you want. He's courageous enough to stand. But there's real value in the room also. So let me just encourage us to toss out some challenges, some wishes, some how to figure it out, and get the collective intelligence of everybody. Also, let me just add one last thing to the previous point. There are people all over that would tell you email marketing is dead. They're wrong. There are people for 20 years that have been telling us direct mail is dead. They're wrong. I would argue direct mail is working better today than it has forever. Has anybody ever seen the little meme or GIF? It's the guy sitting at his desk and he's got like a 5-foot tall pile of junk mail, and he's staring at his brand new email and it says, "You've got mail," and he's like, "Woo!" The world has flipped. Now it's like there's not much in the mailbox anymore, but I have 47,000 unread emails. So what I would suggest for a room like this of advanced marketers, by the way, that's a great idea. That's the kind of idea you get out of rooms like this, is where's that regulation? Not there yet. Anybody 3-4 years ago remember telling yourself or your team, guys, the open rate on text is almost 100%. Please use this, right? Well, to Kevin's point, the next iteration of filtering, and by the way, most of us are talking out of both sides of our mouth. I wish these freaking political candidates would quit texting me. I wish my text would get delivered to these clients, right? It's a complicated world out there. So let's talk about what those next frontiers are. But let's not forget to go back to the abandoned frontiers that are still really fruitful. So don't quit on email, don't quit on direct mail. There will be a time when this tech stuff probably settles. Most people run away from it, and we come back and kill it. But push notifications is a great idea. So I'm not going to fully protect Kevin. If you still have questions, he's still staying. He hasn't left yet. But I would also say there are some really sharp people that have solved some really clever issues in this room. This is one of your rare moments to be together and share. So, quick question, or do you want the mic?
No, it's a quick question.
Okay.
There are a lot of push notifications that we can customize in Real Geeks, but it seems to me like for all the advanced ones we have, one of the most simple ones is missing. Like my VA, my email is tied to Real Geeks. There's no notification to let my VA know when a lead emails us back.
So you mean an email back?
Like a lead notification. Here you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a lead notification, but when a lead responds to an email.
Right, so question is, if a lead responds back to an email that you sent from the CRM, is there a way that you can get notified? Right. So I'm assuming
I
you...
get notified because my email comes to my phone.
Right.
But my VA manages, my CRM for the most part. And my VA, now has a reminder every 30 minutes to go personally check my email.
Can I give the easy fix for
Please.
this?
Oh, yeah. Al's got a fix.
Adam is a secondary email for the, for notifications.
Stand by.
Add them as a secondary email for notifications and activate that, activate and check the box that says send the notification for email responses to the secondary email. I mean, that's an easy fix.
Well, one thing that we had happen, Al, is recently one of my people needed admin because I took away my main admin account, but they needed access to all the other stuff.
Well, they would need, you'd have to set them up as a team leader so they can click through and see that lead. But that's the only way they're going to see that anyhow. But however, with the email notification, the notification spells out the email to them in the notification. So it tells them the lead's name, phone number, email address. It gives you, it gives you the, and it gives you whatever that email was, the content of that email comes back to you. So even if they don't have access to the lead, they're still going to get the notification, but they should if you want them to respond to that.
I've set them up as a secondary email, and she can go into the CRM where it says incoming and always sent and all that emails, but there's no push notification
Well, there's no push. Well, that's not true too. She could, if she's logged in, no, she can get well, she'd have to be logged in as the person who got the email to get that push.
Right, and there's multiple
Right,
agents,
right,
so she has to
right.
just check emails.
Well, actually, if she's logged in as a admin or a team leader, she would get that push notification if it's turned on for the app also.
Yeah, I mean, she's not the admin, I am.
Well, you can make her you don't have to make her an admin. You could just make her a team leader, and she would be able to get that.
But that would be an additional cost.
No,
Well, Chase, what I do, I just let my game log in as me.
no.
Just change their
And let them get the notification from that perspective.
Mine does as well.
Okay, so if they're logged in as you, then if you just set them up like he's saying, it's a secondary notification, they'll get the email in their inbox, plus they can get the desktop notification as well when that pops up.
You could also set up a text, they could get a text as well.
Exactly. All the above.
Well, you can't set up a secondary text.
But if he's not getting a text, like if one could go to an email, one could go to a text or
Right,
something like that.
right. There's fixes for that. There is there are a lot of fixes for that. So, I know that he's had a lot of questions. He's had his hand up. This gentleman right here.
Yeah, so this is Sharif from the
Here,
Seattle
Sharif.
area.
Sharif.
Thanks. Yeah, Sharif from the Seattle area. Question to Kevin. Whenever we do the bulk import for leads, there is a box that says like, do you want to send a welcome email? Does this get sent out from our email that is tied to the CRM?
Yeah, it gets sent through the e-blast. So you don't talk about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you import your leads and they check the box that says send the welcome email, how does that get sent out? It gets sent out through the eBlast email system. So that's the same one that you would use if you went into your CRM and checked everybody and said send an email, which is different from the one that we use for the one-off emails, which is your integrated Gmail or Microsoft email.
So for example, like if my email is like Sharif@Sharif Real Estate, it will be sent from Sharif@Sharif Real Estate, or?
On the welcome email, it'll actually come from, I think it's like Sharif, well, depending on what your domain name is, we actually register a subdomain of your domain that actually can send bulk emails. So it's something like sharif@rgmail.sharifrealestate.com, and then if you reply to that, it actually goes back to your normal email because we set the reply to header on that email.
Yeah, because after I imported like a lot of emails through to the Real Geek system, somehow Google marked my email as a spam.
Yeah.
Because of this like bulk import. So lesson learned after that, I worked with Google, and after that they unspam my email. But in the future, lesson learned is that like I stopped using bulk import, or if I'm using it like 10, 15, but I stopped doing hundreds.
Yeah, so we actually can't send through your linked email very many at a time. So that's why we have a separate email blasting system, because Google will cut us off after a certain amount. But yeah, there's two email systems. One is for blasts and one is for individuals.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, this is my lesson learned.
Yeah, Jim?
I got a question. So while we're on Kevin's back up there, so on the app, the mobile app, which I love the mobile app.
Thank you.
It's great on an Apple,
Yes.
but a few of my agents love their Androids.
Yeah.
One of the features that I really love is being able to add a contact from Real Geeks. Just hit the button, add contact. It puts all the information from Real Geeks into my phone.
Yes.
Android doesn't have that option.
Yeah. That's true. Is it on the roadmap? It could be. I think last time we looked at it, there was some sort of like permissions with the App Store thing we had to go through that was going to be kind of a pain. But I'm glad to hear that you're using that feature.
Yeah. About half of us use it and half don't.
Because of the Android. Yeah, our users, if we look at the data, is mostly Apple, so the Android folks are kind of rare. So Androids gets the features second sometimes.
Yeah. They should,
But I'll put that one in the hopper for you, Jim.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let Sasha repeat that, please, and then go to her question.
For $10 a month, they can sync all their contacts with Real Geeks with their phone with API Nation and call it a day.
What is
One's not one at a time.
Say that again?
I don't want every contact in my room to say Wi-Fi.
Well, I mean, you kind of got to pick which way you want it.
He's saying as he starts communicating with him, he wants to flip him over to his phone and.
Yeah.
Get the lead into Real Geeks and then sync that with their phone, as opposed to just putting it in their phone and always forgetting to put it in Real Geeks.
No, I get that. I mean, I guess it's a matter of how you like to use it. I like the fact that if I put a note in my iPhone and I'm talking to a Real Geeks lead, it goes over into my notes into Real Geeks. So it just depends on how you want to do it. But $10 a month, they can fix that, or buy an iPhone, I guess.
Yeah, actually, also, Jim, if they have contacts in Google, because they're Android people, there's a new feature coming that we'll talk about later today.
At 3 p.m.
Yeah. Okay, Susie.
So my question is when I'm doing, sorry, thank you. When we send out a bulk email so like I have a coming soon property, but I want it on the face of the email. I don't want it as an attachment. Do we have that ability to do that? Because I can't figure it out. I think it has to come in as an attachment.
I think it has to come in as an attachment, yeah.
You can't just put it in the face of the email.
Yeah, we could do that, but.
Can we do that? Could
Well,
really do
we
that?
could add that feature so that you could do that at some point, yes.
Okay, I'd love to see that out of.
Are you taking notes, Lindsay?
And I think, because I may have talked about this last
Can-
year.
yeah, can,
You, on the list of
you should be able to,
requests
right?
do that. I think maybe the guy asked there may be some email deliverability.
Because when we come out with a new listing alert
Yeah.
and we do a search and it matches this and just in bulk get it out
Yeah.
quickly, because we're still in bid wars in our market.
Yeah.
I would love, but I don't want them to have to click on the attachment. I want it right in the.
Yeah, there's no WYSIWYG image embed button on the eBlast. Yeah, I feel like we should have that, right? Yeah. Yeah. Al's up, yep.
I have another question, and this is regarding something, and I don't know if this is a feature that I'm missing or it's one that needs to be added. If I want to, we all know that we have the average price range on the list of what the customers are looking for. That's there. Is there a way, and I want to search for my customers that are looking between 400,000 and 600,000. Can I do that? And if not, why not?
I actually don't know the answer to that one. Is there no example?
I know the answer. The answer is you can't. So my question is, why not? I mean, especially like, you list a property. You want to send this email to your customers who are in this price range. Or I'm going on a listing appointment and someone says, do you have any buyers for my property? Well, let's see how many are in my database in your price point. We can't search by price point.
But you could, by area. No, but it only goes by the areas you tagged or the areas that's in their address.
Yeah, you can with tags, right? Because, well, we auto tag areas based on where they're looking.
No, but you could sort by.
Doesn't auto tag?
Average price. Wait, I look at everything.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, it's there. I mean, it's right there. It's a column.
Yeah, we should be able to search on that.
You could literally go in and be able to say, I have a buyer, I have a buyer looking in this area, or a seller, and you want to find all the buyers.
Yeah.
You should be able
Well,
to-
that's why we built the buyer list feature, right? So you go into that little drop down in the upper left and you say
Only based
buyer's
on
list.
certain criteria. It doesn't based on really what, let's just say some unknown person goes in and searches for something. It doesn't say what they're searching for. In other words, you know what I mean? It doesn't really have an algorithm to go in there and show that.
It
all the
should.
people are looking
Yeah.
there.
Oh, the magic field you want to find in the advanced search is called property location.
But even that property location, it doesn't.
That's based. That's
It's based on previous searches?
it's based on the properties they viewed when they're searching.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
And the
I've tried that, it didn't seem to work that way.
yeah, we had a bug for a while, but yeah, it's called property location, and it automatically will tag leads with neighborhood, zip code.
It doesn't automatically tag.
Right, it's a separate tagging system. It's a property location tagging system. Exactly. Right.
I get it now, that makes sense.
Yep. We actually have to run a whole separate search server for it called Elasticsearch, and it's a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But yeah, buyer's list or just regular advanced search property location will let you search
on.
on.
Use this since you fixed the bug.
Probably not, yeah. Yeah, and then on Al's question, yeah, we probably should be able to search by that. If it's in the database, why not? Put that one on the list, Lindsay. Okay. Craig, you had something?
I just wanted to know if the email blasts and your workflow emails are coming from the same system, or are they different systems?
Yes, the email blasts come from the same system as the workflows. We just have two emailing systems. There's eblast/workflows, and then the second one is your email that you link up to the CRM. And if it's an individual, like one-off email, like if you're using a template email, or if an individual agent is sending an email to a prospect, that comes from their linked Gmail or Microsoft Outlook or SMTP or whatever. And if it's an eblast or a workflow email, that comes from our bulk email system, which actually is a separate, each individual customer gets their own little sandbox so that one person's bad behavior doesn't affect other people's bad behavior. Yeah.
So the deliverability on both of those, like if I was doing a mass email or a workflow email, the deliverability would be very similar.
That's right.
Exact same.
Yes, right. Those come out of the same system. Yep. Todd's taking the mic back.
Deliverability would be the same out of both of those systems. Can we come back to that, just so I can make sure I get to these two guys? The question was, can you do a bulk email out of BombBomb or that feature? And the answer was yes. We'll come back. David from Houston.
Yes, sir. On the new listing through the eBlast, what I've done is created a JPEG of the flyer and copied and pasted that into the eBlast template and send it out, and it seems to work fine.
Canva works really well too.
Also,
Like, that's what we usually recommend. You can copy and paste the HTML and put it in.
Did you catch that? What he's talking about?
The
Instead of attaching it?
No, I didn't get the comment. What was her answer?
Canva is a program. Canva is a program just for some basic editing, and they use that to basically create the image to drop in the email instead of it being an attachment, correct?
So
Okay.
you don't use the image itself, you use the HTML language around it and paste it.
no, I copy the image.
He's literally pasting a JPEG, copy, paste,
The body.
into the body.
Correct.
And she's just saying Canva can help you work with that image before you do that. Let me come over here, and then we'll come back around. We've had some folks waiting for a bit.
Al asked a question a second ago, and it made me think about this. We get a lot of leads that just never respond to workflows or whatnot. And so after a little bit of activity, we try to customize the search based on what they're looking at. You have the summary that shows the average price point and location that they've been looking in, but it would be very helpful if it would show number of bedrooms and bathrooms as well, instead of having to click on individual properties, to see that, look at 10 to find out they've been looking at mostly 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, some added efficiency for sure. General suggestion in your direction?
You say what I was thinking out loud, so thank you.
Is there,
Go ahead.
no, on the next one, I don't have interest in that one. Okay.
I think that's just an expression of what would help.
So we still use the reactive response. Has anyone figured out a way to search the leads? So like I want to be able to find the leads who haven't responded and don't have a phone call logged for, say, 90 days. And right now, the only way I'm able to search is all communications, no communications in 90 days. Well, the reactive response shows up as a communication. So I can't filter those out without looking at each lead individually.
That makes sense.
So I think what he's saying is we need a way to see the last phone call, last phone contact.
Or filter out the automated.
Yeah.
Manual.
Yeah, we keep track of last communication date, but the problem is communication could be automated or it could be manual.
Right.
We almost need like a last automated communication date versus.
There it is. Precisely. Okay, who's?
Change the subject. We actually fixed a problem on accident.
Stand by, stand by. Al accidentally solved a problem. Everybody pay attention. Or was it Lindsay? Let's be honest.
All right, well, Lindsay might have had something to do with it. So she might have, at my direction, fixed it. So the problem that we're always having is when we're entering a new customer into the system, either manually, and we send them the list of properties, they're not logged in. You know, and they log in and then they sign up and they're coming back in as a new lead. And does anybody else have that problem? Yep. Okay, so we figured out how to fix that. So in setting up the templates that we started to set up, we found that there is some of the code that lets us put it in the templates, that when you put it in the template and send it to them, that it automatically logs the customer into the CRM, or it logs them in automatically, where they don't have to sign up again. They're automatically logged in, and on a text, it only works in the templates. You can't copy and paste the, do you remember what the text? Well, there's two, right, it's a merge field. You can't just copy and paste that and put it in a text and send the text, or you can't just copy and paste it and put an email. It has to be in the template, because we tested that. But if you put a template and said, here's a list of the properties, and if it's a text, it shows your website and it's an actual link. If you send it to them with, in the email, it says login. And we were like I said, we found that out on accident, and we were like, oh my God, we just solved a problem here that we've always had. So I don't know if you guys are aware of that, because we weren't. That, you know, because that was always a problem we had. Lindsay?
Also, if they click on the property update email, all of those will automatically log in.
Right, that we knew, but the problem is you're sending it to them, here, let me send you a list of properties. Right. And you're sending it to them, and then now they gotta log in. Right. So now they don't have to do that.
All right, we have about 30 more minutes. We're gonna take a 1-minute deep breath and actually get some handheld mice. So don't say anything important for the next 60 seconds.
All right, we'll let Lindsay take over on that, okay?
Save it, keep it, write it down.
Lindsay's gonna, when we come back, Lindsay will tell you how to do it.
When you start getting audio, you should be getting some audio. Can you hear it? Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 1, 2. It's gonna be low. We have to edit that. But it's good, right? Can you hear me? 1, 2. Hello, guys. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear this guy? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1 hour. We'll leave on time. We'll be back on time. And now Lindsay will tell you how to solve almost all the world's problems.
Well, but that led me to another question, actually, for probably Kevin. When you're setting up the email template, all the codes are listed below. When you're creating a text template, they're not there.
Oh, really? Yeah, we should fix that.
Okay. So I basically had to open 2 tabs, different browsers, to look at the email, copy the code. I don't think so.
I feel like we have is there a little drop down you can pull down and it inserts them? Or am I crazy?
No drop down. Okay, so maybe it's in both. Anyway, the codes are in the email template.
Yeah,
they weren't in mine.
We actually, the email codes and the text codes used to be different at one point, and everyone was going crazy, and then we unified them. So if it works in email, it should work in text and vice versa.
Yes, it seemed like they worked. I just copied them from the email template. But so anyway, when you're looking at those codes, setting up that template, first name, last name, it just lists everything that you can include in that template, and login that's it. Right. So then
merge fields, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, merge fields.
That's there's actually 2 merge fields that work. One is just lead login, and then one's a longer one.
Yeah.
We've been using the longer one.
I have to look at it.
Login, blah, 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 blah.
I like my team to believe that I have virtually no technical capability whatsoever, but I think I can summarize that. I know a little more than they think I do. Don't tell them. And Craig's the tech coach. I just hide behind him. But what was just said, for those of you watching the recording, if we were choppy or if it wasn't clear in the room, is that if you're sending emails or texts through the template version, you can add the code for a merge field, which makes it super, super easy for the recipient to log back in when they get back instead of having to kind of manually, slowly, clunkily, even if they have never logged in before. The advantage there is now they're in the system instead of sort of bouncing off of it just from your email or text. So that was my oversimplified summary. Right. Which would cause them to bounce a lot of the time or be annoyed or come in as a new registration when they're not.
Yeah, but keep in mind, you sign up and sign in with your email and your phone number. So even if they don't know they have an account, they have an account. And even if you fill up the sign up form, again, it'll just sign them in if they already have an account with that email and phone number.
Well, actually, no, because if they try and sign up with it, it tells them we're already using that email, sorry.
Yeah, it should just automatically log them in. Well, that's a bug then.
He wasn't on the mic. Can you recap that real quick?
We can hear him though, like.
But the microphone can't.
Everybody
Yeah,
hear
It's
him?
for the recording. Yeah.
It's for the recording.
Yeah, so to repeat Al and repeat me, I was saying that if you already have an account and you go to the sign up form as a lead, it should just automatically log you into your account. Al's saying it's not doing that. So
Definitely does not. Even if you put the wrong number in?
if you put the wrong number, then it'll say, hey, your number's wrong. But if you do the right,
It'll accept the phone number multiple times.
And you give
Huh.
multiple
Only
entries.
accept one email. It says, oh, there's already an account or whatever it says.
yeah, it should just if you have the right number and email, even on the sign up form, it should just sign you in. So.
Probably say you send one email, then their home email, then their other email with the same phone number, and you get the same lead with 4 people.
That's true.
Yes.
Which leads me to another question.
In that respect, we get a lot of that and we end up with so many duplicates and I have to spend so much time figuring out, like, merging them by myself. And I'm hoping that there might be a way to merge that I'm not seeing that.
There is not a way to merge them other than deleting one or the other. But it is something we talk about a lot.
Got it.
It's very high up on the feature request list.
Okay.
This isn't an
It's on my
ideal
personal feature request list.
situation, but what we use for that is we set up an urgent, like I said, this is not the ideal situation. When we know it's a duplicate, we've set up an urgency, because that's what you can see, and that urgency is duplicate. So we know, or spouse, we have two urgencies, either spouse or, because you don't want to delete it, because if they try logging back in as that, because they came back because of the cookie on their site, then they just have to sign up again, and you've got them again. So if you leave it in the system, mark it as a duplicate or spouse, that's what we do. And then again, it's not ideal, it's not a merge, but we know, hey, we have this person in here, and we have in our notes that it's attached to this other lead. And again, it's not a total solution, but it is a fix, a temporary fix.
Kevin, I think, because I totally get where you're coming from with that situation of merging, but is there a way to connect? Meaning, you know, as a feature in the future sometime where we could say, hey, this person is also connected to that person.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way of thinking about it, because the problem if you merge is one of them disappears. And you don't want that, right? You want to keep both of them in the system, but you also want to realize that they're connected together, right?
In some shape or form, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something, you know,
Right.
in the 30s, 2030s, we could have, that would be awesome. But I
So
do,
mean.
I do have a question though, too. That was not
So
about
mean
that.
to me.
Does anybody know a hack, or is there any plans on ever being able to send a video through text? Now, I know you can, but it's always a link, and nobody's going to open that link. So I thought you would know, Sasha. So,
So one hack that I have, I mean, obviously you can use the Real Geeks text if you want to, okay? You can always use a feature. But if you do have BombBomb and Dub and you're using those two features, what I've learned, you can use the, what's it called? The Google add-on, what's it called at the very top? When you have the desktop add-on for an application? Extension, Chrome extension, thank you. Yes. You can use the Google Chrome extension, Greg here, and you can record your video, copy it, and then paste it in there. Okay, and they will go over automatically that way. So that's one way to do it. I also do that sometimes on the template, when I'm on the lead, when I send an email template, I'll paste a BombBomb or a dub video in there. And the reason I do that over using the Real Geeks one is because if they click and watch that video again and again, I'll get the notification on my BombBomb mobile app saying that someone watched that video 3 or 4 or 5 times. Okay? So that's the only advantage of doing that, but that's a hack that you can do, but you require to have one of those applications to do so. So just know BombBomb and Dub do work with Real Geeks for those who like to use them for other applications, other reasons. You just got to copy the email from the Chrome extension and then paste it inside. Copy the video from the Chrome extension and then paste it inside of the video and or text. So
We've had some agents do some even simpler stuff than that, where they're literally screenshotting the thumbnail of the video and still sending a link, but you just get a much higher level of trust, and I'm willing to click because I know what that link
That makes
is.
sense.
Because you're not going to get the link preview, I think, in almost any text situation. But
Yeah, it's only if they're in your contacts.
Yeah.
And they call it unfurl. So
Right.
your iPhone or your Android will only unfurl the link if it's from someone who's a member of your contacts.
right, and we're rarely a member, one of their contacts. The other thing on our team, if you're a team leader or a broker, is we're creating the vast majority of the content that they would share with them. So if they don't have any of that on their own device or whatever, they're grabbing it from some team resource. And again, once again, not a perfect or elegant solution, but it gets a way higher level of click rate if all your agents don't have all of these platforms and systems or access to them on the fly. They're going to our YouTube channel or whatever, screenshotting the thumbnail, sending it, and saying, hey, you should watch this video. Then here comes the link, and it makes way more sense. Not great, but workable.
Layer deeper on that, what you just said about if you're added to their contacts, what is added?
It would need to be their Real Geeks.
That
texting
Real
number.
Geeks number?
Right.
So like, is there a way maybe we could send out like, hey, add me to your contacts so you know who I am so what would that email, it would be that phone number okay, good.
Yeah, you might try, you could make a little contact card as an attachment.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could try, I haven't tried that, but maybe you could say, hey, click this to add me to your contacts so you can get all my videos or whatever.
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, I would include something really compelling with that ask to be added to their contacts, right? In
Yeah.
order, so I can deliver this to you. Did you have something?
Yeah, so a challenge that I still have too is some of my users will go, hey, who has this lead? Because they go and try and enter it and the email's already there, so we can't enter their email more than once. They can't see it, so I'm having to go in and look up or get my admin to go in and look it up. Is there anybody that's found a workaround where the agent can go in, that's just the user, and see who has that lead? They don't need to see all the details, but who has that lead so that they can call and say, oh yeah, that's my aunt, they weren't supposed to be with you.
I think if they fix that bug where they don't have to sign up with a different email and it signs them in, that could potentially, it won't completely eliminate that, but it will reduce the duplicate numbers for all of us.
Well, we had one that was in our system. We had one that was in our system that's been in there since June. They were just looking. One of my other agents got a sign call. Luckily, it ended back up in our team. And she's trying to put the lead in going, hey, it says this one's assigned to someone already. So then they have to wait for me to be able to go look it up, tell them who it's assigned to, figure out, is this their lead now or not, which it was, so we transferred the lead over. But if they could have just looked it up and said, hey, Jasmine, this is in your queue, can you throw it in we have a pond called Reassign Pond. So they can throw it there and any of the agents can grab it.
I know how to avoid them from having them call you. You get a Dave and a Lindsay and have them call them.
I stopped walking. The most valuable thing I will do all conferences is run this microphone. Really quickly, I think the issue there, it would be great to have a technology solution if a user can't control, delete, or access that, but they could see, oh, that's assigned to someone else.
Regarding multiple accounts that people, and they're saying multiple accounts and they're associated with each other, because we've gone through that for years. And what we came up with, instead of having spouse or brother, sister, we have it family member. So family member is that. The unique field is obviously the email address. And so what we do is, if let's say 4 people are connected, they're all family members, you go to important notes and you put wife, takes a couple minutes, but boy,
So the connected, the non-merged connecting solution you're using with notes and tags,
important notes, no, not tags.
important notes,
And then the type.
type, family member.
I don't like about the important notes, and this is note that you, well, no, it doesn't come up in the history.
Let the record show Al does not like the important notes because it doesn't show up in history.
Go to search your history of notes, your important notes are not in your history.
That's because they're important. You don't want them buried down in the history. It's not, right.
Okay, time out real quick. I mean, we can keep going down that path, but we're circling back to kind of a previous point. So just for clarity's sake, what Jim was talking about is a team member that doesn't have all administrative, access, just being able to see if that lead is assigned to somebody else. From a technology perspective, that would be helpful. From a team perspective, hopefully there's enough opportunity and connected trust that you would say, someone take care of this client and we will sort it out later. And ultimately, if there's enough opportunity, which you should have enough, if you're running Real Geeks and you got, leads is probably not anyone's problem in this room. Conversion and follow-up and clarity and efficiency, by all means, is a forever quest. But just do we have enough people to call is probably not a big problem in this room. So hopefully the attitude is whoever's most recent contact, take great care of them. On the back end, we'll sort this out, and the team might owe you one. Hey, that didn't work out ideally. Yeah, that should have been you, but she took care of it. She's going to run with it. I got you. That sometimes you get into ugly situations where you're like, that's my mother. Well, why didn't she call you then? But anyway, the point is, little technology could go a long way, but as we lead our teams and organizations to avoid those problems, some of the backup to when technology doesn't do it all is that we build culture and trust around that. Let me go here, and then we'll come back to Craig.
Kind of what you were saying from an efficiency and a marketing standpoint, I know on the Facebook user tool, you're able to shorten the URL. And so that technology's there. You guys know how to do it. And it looks so much better from a marketing standpoint, because every time I post on social media about a property, I'm pointing them back to my website. It looks so much cleaner with a shortened URL than a long URL. If you guys already know how to do it, I mean, I've asked for this for years. It would be so much more helpful if I didn't have to go through the Facebook marketing tool when I have no intent of running a Facebook ad just to get a shortened URL.
No, just for a property address?
I have an answer.
Yes.
Just the MLS number is part of that URL. Just change the MLS number.
No, if I'm sharing the URL to a specific property.
Yeah. Ours, the MLS number's in it. Well, it's not that long. I mean, it's maybe like that.
Yeah, it's yourwebsite.com/property and /MLS number,
ID?
whatever it is.
Maybe
Now,
agent ID
there's
number.
two different style links. So there's the one that goes directly to a property, and then there's one that goes to an index inside your search results. And the one that goes to an index inside your search results is kind of long.
Yeah.
So that could be the one that you're sending.
Well, I mean, either one. It's just in the Facebook tool, it's a lot shorter and a lot cleaner.
I can tell you how to do it.
Please,
Very quickly.
please.
Coming, Craig. I'm coming.
When you pull up that property and you've got that search, and you're looking at the edit search, if you go to interactive map, and then just quickly, just go there and then go back,
Yes, ma'am.
and then it's short.
I'm familiar with that, but
Okay.
that's for a property results search, not for a specific. That doesn't work.
But when and the MLS search, when they were talking about using the MLS number, that one it's shorter. Yeah. So.
You still go use URL /property /MLS number, whatever that is, and then use any short URL. Short URL. Use Bitly, anything.
I understand, but just, I mean,
It's trying to remove the multiple actions.
instead of
Yeah.
having to go somewhere else.
That's right. It is multiple steps, but that's what we do.
Facebook marketing tool.
All right, first a feature request, and then I'll give you an answer on that thing about multiple people with the same thing. Kevin, have we ever thought about adding some of the MLS agent info and stuff to the back end for our agents to be able to see who the representing co-agent is so that they don't have to go into the MLS to set up an appointment or something? As a broker, I want to keep my people in Real Geeks more than having them going into the MLS more. So, and those fields got to be available to you guys through the feed. So, is there a way to get just the agent name, their phone number, or where to set up an appointment, those kind of things? Would be
So are you saying like on the property page, I would include in there?
So not for the customer to see, this would be on the back end. So like when they, so I guess it would have to be on a property page for the agent that would see.
So detect if you logged in and then show some additional fields like listing agent
name,
agent phone number, but not public.
We do use showing time.
How would that help you, because you have to use showing time?
A lot of, so we, in our market, we're small enough where we say, hey, call the agent first and talk to them, get some info about the house first. So, and then sometimes it's just, when you're looking through the feed, it's nice to know that one of your buddy agents has a listing up, so you can call them and congratulate them and build some rapport and stuff. So, I mean,
I just click through and I don't see the listing agent, but of course I can scroll down and see the listing office.
we see that too, yeah.
I can add to this question. It's very similar.
Just to clarify one last thing, that was, the request there would be internal only, not public facing.
In the CRM.
Just want to be clear.
In the CRM, instead
Yeah.
of having, is it more useful to have it as a field in the CRM that you could use to search, like I mentioned, seeing when if your buddy is listing something, or having it on the website, in the CRM? Okay.
I think so. And,
Make my
I know that one of your competitors has that in their CRM, so if you want me to, I can show you what it looks like.
Definitely, yeah. Find me after and show me. Yeah.
Yeah, like same for here. I can't switch to Real Geek 100% because like MLS has a feature of like search by keywords. Like for example, like one of my buyers want like only properties around like Mountain Rainier. Like Real Geek doesn't have that. So I have to use MLS. Another investor wants like properties that have this and that mother-in-law. I know that Real Geek has mother-in-law feature, but not every single thing is like sorted.
Even with the super search?
I have it. I have it, but I want like some agents are writing it down in the description. Exactly. Some agents are writing it down in the remark, but doesn't check it as a feature.
It's not 100% correct, but it is very.
We could make a field.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like if we can search by keywords, this would be amazing. It's very similar.
Just to clarify, yeah, we got a whiteboard, we'll get to it. Just to clarify, that was about being able to search agent remarks or comments or descriptions through Real Geeks to and via your local MLS without having to separately log in and out of the MLS for stuff like that.
Yeah, so we might have a solution for you. We might be able to create a custom field in your MLS that actually searches the results. The data team might get mad at me, but come see me after and I'm going to be able to hook you
To
up.
be clear, I love it when Kevin says might. I like someday, at some point. These are all key phrases, people.
Okay, so I'd like to hear from several of you in this room on best practices around the text messages that are going out to the clients automatically and them not having any signature in them. Do you have signatures to them? Do you put the agent who's working the lead's first name and phone number? Because then the text is coming from a different phone number. So how are you handling text messages? And that's also including the automatic, reactive responses.
Yeah, I'll say one thing, which is that we are automatically adding a signature to your text messages for you because the carriers are requiring us to do this. I don't know, what do you think, Lindsay, last couple months?
We actually made it, so we had been applying it like in a reactive way, but it was about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago where that's the default for everyone, that we're identifying the sender in text messages because the carriers are requiring it.
It's your company name. Yeah, it's your office name, which is a requirement from the carriers. They say you have to identify who is sending the text message in the text message. So,
Go ahead.
Since you started that, have found a better response rate from the lead.
I was going to say the same thing. Like
Yeah.
our response in a positive
That's
way.
promising.
They're getting a better response rate from the lead since the
the automatic signature identifier.
I guess the
Yay!
short answer is
That's
we
shocking.
should
I'm
keep
shocked.
doing that.
This is the first time I've heard good news about texting. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if it's identification or just better deliverability and you're like,
So for clarity,
That's
it's
awesome.
reactive responses now all have our name and the name of our website or the name of our brokerage?
It's going to be whatever you have in the company name field.
Your URL is.
Right. Yeah. And if you don't like it, you can hit support and they can change that for you. But it's the first message that goes out. Doesn't matter if it's a reactive response, if it's an AI, or even if it's a manual text, is going to identify who the sender is.
Oh, that's great.
So to answer, so to answer your question around best practices, things that we're doing, as soon as a lead starts to have a conversation with us and they start connecting, our VAs are then send them over information to get them linked up on the calendar to do a buyer consult or a listing consult with the client, with one of our agents. We then also share our POPL. POPL is just a link, just like Linktree, whatever, to get them involved into our entire ecosystem as real estate agents, so they know that it just proves who we are and things that we've done from our YouTube channel, our LinkedIn, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. And then the third best practice is we send them a V card as well, so they have our information. Now, the thing about that is we used to have the CRM's phone number in there, but we're figuring that out still with the whole text messaging changing the number thing out. But those are some of the best practices that we would do.
We have about 10 minutes left, but you made me think of something, and I have the mic, so here you go. I wish Ian was in here. He's our team lead. Find him another time. This is not brilliant, but it's working great. One of the best things we've done for the last 2 years now, to Sasha's point, once we are no longer automated and we have manual communication, is we are scheduling a call. Obviously, our goal is a buyer initial consultation, an appointment. But oftentimes, you're trying to get them on the phone and make real activity happen live in the moment. We're finding massive response. Kind of like we just said, when we add the identifier, it's just working better. Surprise, surprise. We're finding that we say, hey, when's the best time to schedule a short call or Zoom with you? We're getting phenomenal response to that. As simple and direct as that sounds, people are like, great, I can schedule it at a convenient time. I know who you are. I know what that'll be about. Of course, it's not, 80% conversion rate, but way more than we thought. And for the last couple of years, we don't have full-time ISA, but Ian sets a lot of appointments for our team. That's his go-to on all of it. And when our agents will focus and do that, that, as simple and direct as it is working out really great. Even if it's a text, email for sure. When's a great time for us to sit down? Now, add some compelling, give them something to want, but just straight to schedule a time to talk is working great. Both. Text and email. A lot of text, but again, that's a one-to-one. Automation woke them up. They've proven they're a live, breathing human being. Now I'm sending a one-to-one, not through the primary system, and just saying, when's a good time to chat?
And why not have that automated?
It was. We've pulled it out of automation for the last 1.5 to 2 years because of just response rates.
One thing
Way ahead of all the requirements, too, but we got lucky, I think.
One thing that we do with that is when we have a lead that's on the website over and over and over again, they're not picking up the phone, they're not really that responsive. We just send them a message like, hey, you have been on the website looking at homes, where do we go from here? We just want to have a conversation with you, and we send the calendar link out. And you'll get, let's say, 2 out of 10 who'll schedule a consultation just by simply doing that, because text. Like, where do we go from here? Put it back in their Calendly. A Calendly is a Calendly. It's a scheduling tool. If you set it up, people can book out 15-minute phone calls, however you want to do that.
So you guys are all talking, you're missing one key feature in Real Geeks.
At least. Stand by.
And that's chat, okay? You're talking about you can't get them to answer the phone. The queen of chat is sitting right here, okay? She sits on her computer and she watches for everybody to come back. We haven't been able to get them. She just chats them. Talk about multitasking. She'll be chatting with 3 or 4 people at the same time while I'm talking to her, asking her to do something else. So, the chat feature is so underutilized, and I know I talked to Chuck again about the reactive responses with the chat, and he says hopefully it's coming soon, because it's not regulated, like we talked about with the with the app. And to get those reactive responses, you know, working with the chat, and utilizing that is huge, getting a hold of these people.
When she sees somebody pop
She's right
up,
there, ask her.
so when you see somebody pop up live, you're just shooting them a message saying, hey.
Because, you know, the green dot is either next to
Yep.
their name. The green dot is either next to their name, or if you have the window open, you can pull up just your leads. You can pull up all leads. You know, you can filter what you're seeing also.
What are you telling them? Like,
Just the questions, the qualifying questions. It depends on what I know.
yeah.
Right? So I may have another page open with that lead and the history and steal from that. Hey, how's your aunt? How was her surgery? When are you coming
Yeah,
to class?
you avoid the creepy questions like, I know where you were last night. At 11:37 p.m., I know what you want.
My experience with people who have been on 685 times and you've never had communication. So I started asking them, I'm at the Lake of the Ozarks, do you own a home at the lake right now or currently? And they're like, yes. So they're on our site just looking at their value or their neighborhood value. And then it's just been great for getting listings, just phenomenal.
I do have a pro tip, something that we're doing to share real quick. Let's say you have a listing, okay? Here's something that we're doing. We're creating a coming soon page on the back end of Real Greeks for a listing. Once we get those pictures and whatnot, okay? And then we'll share the link out there to the database. One thing I would recommend that you do is this: use the banner. Is anyone else using the banner feature inside of Real Geeks? Use the banner. The banner, the tag at the very top.
Homepage banner.
Right? So it's like a call to action. So we use that to re-energize our leads. And that call to action may be, hey, we're doing a home buyer webinar on Saturdays at yada yada time. So when we send this out of a brand new listing, they are looking at the home, but then they'll also see that call to action button up there for a Zoom buyer webinar, or they may see it to send them to a certain type of search. And it says, new homes just listed on the market in yada yada neighborhood. Doing that will get people to start clicking on that banner and staying on the website longer, to do what Al was just talking about, and that is start engaging them through the chat. So we regularly do this, and that's how we start qualifying and talking to people, by using that banner. It's a manual process, but it's one way to start the conversations.
We have 2 or 3 minutes, but I think it's worth pinging a few things and then keep this going at lunch and in the breaks and stuff. It's a manual action, but it does something that's really important. Raise your hand right now if you think you currently have enough leads that if you work them well, you would never need another lead for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Okay? So a lot of people just raise their hand, right? So the game that we play all the time is, how do I get more leads and better leads and lower price leads and higher quality leads and all that, which is great. We should do that. The world changes. But lots of us have so many leads that if we just did a phenomenal job with them, we'd sell enough houses. We could have a phone book, but we have better than that. We have a phone book of people that were looking at houses, at least. So what I think you're doing that you know, but maybe not everybody caught, is you're remarketing to your existing database and ecosystem of people. So you're sending them information to get them back to the site, to get some more information, to keep them engaged, keep them cycling back. There's all sorts of technical marketing language for what that is. But basically, you're adding more value to the people that you already have. You're waking them up, you're reinvigorating them. That touches on the chat conversation. They're already in your system, but they're active. All you need to do is look for signs of life. You're using the chat or whatever else to find out, is there a pulse? We say offline to get online, to get back offline. It's automated to get manual, to get back automated, to get manual, to sell them a house, to remarket to them, lifetime value. It's all those things. But I think that specific strategy speaks to a broader mindset that a lot of us sleep on, a lot of y'all that are advanced technology users, and forget all these tools are also most valuable to the people we already have in our system, that we've already paid the cost of acquisition, we've already built some level of trust or value with, or they wouldn't be coming back. And let's go deeper and offer more value, whether it's a seminar or whatever, or using the chat. But I think there's a couple of nuggets that I'll summarize, and then we'll hand the microphone off before lunch. Couple is, what are those technology areas that are now what text was a few years ago, where deliverability is better, regulations less. We have a little bit more free-flowing communication. Push notifications could be one. Chat is definitely one. What else do you have in your ecosystem? Number two is there are some roundabout solutions to most of our challenges, but a lot of things could be made better and more efficient, and Real Geek seems super receptive to most, if not all of them. Last point I'll make, and then I'll hand the mic off, and then I'll give you some last-minute lunch announcements and what's next, is raise your hand the last time any service or product you used put you in the room with their leaders, CEO and staff leaders, and just listened to what you had to say and were responsive to that. 1 year ago. Same people, same room. So if you're not here and you just got the video, reach out, express some gratitude one way or another, come back next year. If you're in the room, let them know how grateful we are for them right now, please. Thank you.